9 out of 10 Crystal Skulls agree. Click like and subscribe to the Heavy Underground. Ooh, that one skull, let me tell you.
With a 9-year gap since Eddie and the Boys last laid waste to western Pennsylvania, the intervening years have found greater success for Iron Maiden than ever. Sold out world tours and a critically lauded as well as highly progressive minded double album Book of Souls proves the band's timeless strength as the British metal veterans return to the Steel City for a sold out Pittsburgh crowd on August 17, 2019. Their current worldwide run, titled The Legacy of the Beast Tour, began in May 2018 and is named for both a comic book and a mobile video game, both released in the same year. This Legacy of the Beast World Tour features an intricate stage show and a hefty dose of 1980s material, providing the crowd with a red meat foundation, and select cuts from the outlying years, providing essential variants to the classics' heavy set. Joining Iron Maiden on this crowd-pleasing run of concerts are up-and-coming metalcore act The Raven Age. Formed in 2009, the Raven Age pedal in a highly melodic strain of metalcore. Founding guitarist and spawn of Iron Maiden's own Steve Harris, George Harris has put together a revamped lineup in the past couple of years, with Tony Mao replacing co-founder Dan Wright on guitar and Matt James replacing lead vocalist Michael Burrows in 2017 and 2018 respectively. Rounded out by relative long-timers Jai Patel on drums and Matt Cox on bass and backing vocals, the Raven Age charged through 2019 with a new album titled Conspiracy, released back in March, and another tour with the almighty Iron Maiden. With a grandiose sweep, 2019's Bloom of the Poison Seed plays as an intro track as the Raven Age make their way to the stage. Launching into Betrayal of the Mind from the band's recently released Conspiracy full length, brothers Harris and Mao level an authoritative guitar strike on the assembling crowd, while brother Patel's potent drums hit with stringent effect on this aggressive number. Charging forth, bass and guitar chug into the night as Promised Land from the group's 2017 debut album, Darkness Will Rise, lines up next. Settling into a mid-paced power stomp, Promised Land scuffles forth with an understated crunch before the Raven Age ramp up the hostility with a scathing run-through of another new song, 2019's Surrogate. A vocal entreaty ensues on this otherwise propulsive number as the band joins together for some redolent vocal harmony throughout their potent assault. Next, The Day the World Stood Still opens with a delicate climb. Set to a potent simmer, the Raven Age move through the song with a graceful pummeling action. Gruff backing vocals perfectly counterbalance the otherwise dignified intonations of this recent track. Following The Day the World Stood Still, lead singer Matt James, announcing the soon-to-be-released single The Face That Launched 1,000 Ships, continues a trend towards sentence-length song titles, as a delicate opening passage builds to a proper power ballad intensity. A display of guitar prowess rouses the band as the song nears its end. Maintaining focus on their Conspiracy album, Fleur de Lis rockets to a galloping start. Brother James's voice cuts a melodious swath while brothers Harris and Mao propel the song with their galloping riff explosion. Next, the Raven Age reach deep with an affecting song influenced by a harrowing Japanese anime about the tragedy of post-World War II orphans. Titled Grave of the Fireflies, this epic track opens with a powerful croon as a weighted strength bolsters the song's heartbreaking subject matter. Emerging into a forceful marching pace, Seventh Heaven begins with a buzzing call at the conclusion of Grave of the Fireflies. Tumbling riffs spill forth with a guttural tone on another new song. A strong metalcore statement, Seventh Heaven intensifies before quickly breaking out into the next track, Angels in Disgrace. Quickly following up at a quickly clipping pace, Angel in Disgrace consumes all in attendance with an indelible stretch of guitar harmony streaking through this loose and nimble number as the Raven Age conclude their set. Turning in a surprisingly powerful performance, the Raven Age burned through nearly an hour of energetic and harmonious metalcore songcraft. With a heavy emphasis on the band's 2019 full-length Conspiracy, these British heshers stand on their own with memorable hooks and well-executed power. For full disclosure, guitarist George Harris is the son of Iron Maiden bass maestro Steve Harris, but any claim of unfair nepotism is unwarranted, as the Raven Age acquit themselves admirably with a grandiose and explosive performance. Rising high on a strain of powerful and soaring metalcore, the Raven Age fly through a 53-minute set unashamed of their melodic power. Founded in 1975 by resident bass legend Steve Harris, Iron Maiden are celebrating their influential history with 2019's Legacy of the Beast Tour. These inter-album tours have allowed the band's fans worldwide to enjoy both album-centered tours when supporting a new album and retrospective tours that have focused on specific eras of the band's history and career-spanning spectacles like their ongoing Legacy of the Beast Tour. With 20 years having elapsed since the band's heralded 1999 reunion, once and again, longtime lead singer Bruce Dickinson captains the stage with his trademark energy and aplomb. Steve Harris leads the rhythmic cavalry with his galloping bass and forceful presence, while brother Harris's longtime sideman Nico McBrain deftly plies the drums in bombastic accord. Since 1976, near founding member Dave Murray joins Adrian Smith, celebrating 39 years of service, and Yannick Gers, himself closing in on 30 years of dedication in what has to be the most stacked front line of guitar players ever assembled in one band. As the pre-show preparations run out, with UFO's Dr. Doctor offering a final warning to the crew, the mighty Iron Maiden stride on stage to soar through 1984's Aces High in a show-opening flurry. Quickly following with Where Eagles Dare, Maiden hit the ground running with an explosion of melodic power, with the band's trademark guitar harmonies cutting through this 1983 classic. Following up, 2 Minutes to Midnight quickly springs forth with no time to spare. Finally addressing the crowd, Bruce formally greets the crowd, touching on modern musical tastes and the potential for new Iron Maiden music in the coming years. Brother Dickinson plays the gracious host as the band readies for the next salvo. A Blaze Bayley-era track, The Klansman, from 1998's Virtual 11, settles in next as this underrated gem slowly builds to a magnificently epic sweep. 1983's Peace of Mind next offers up a double dose of stone-cold greatness. The Trooper and Revelations alight from the stage as these British exemplars power through the Trooper with a masterful flair. Joined by longtime mascot Eddie, Brother Bruce vanquishes the skeletal icon in a sword fight before Brother Harris's exemplary bass work ushers in the reflective track Revelations. Breaking free in the closing moments, Revelations revels in a simmering power, and the band's triumvirate of guitar greatness makes their presence most definitely known. Dissipating in a staggered waltz, Revelations gives way to the post-millennial brilliance of For the Greater Good of God from 2006's A Matter of Life and Death. Offering a sprawling epic build, For the Greater Good of God delivers all the latter-day thoughtfulness and depth that highlights the modern-day Maiden mindset. Another showcase for the band's superlative six-stringers, For the Greater Good of God strides powerfully to a close before Bruce bellows, "Mr. Smith goes to Pittsburgh," as the six-string firebrand Adrian Smith charges into the opening riff of 2000's The Wicker Man, as the song rockets through the arena with an energetic punch. Continuing to show respect and appreciation for the band's full history, another Blaze-era song, The Sign of the Cross, from 1995's The X Factor, makes a grand impact. A dramatic and ominous open soon gives way to a fervent charge before taking a gravity-shifting turn into the song's middle section, as a volley of guitar flourishes leads the song to its downshifting close. Peace of Mind continues to provide primary support for the setlist as Flight of Icarus takes wing from the stage. Patrolling the back line in front of stage and literally setting the air ablaze, Bruce holds the band's feet to the fire on this soaring classic. Emerging from the shadows of 1992's album of the same name, Fear of the Dark begins its paranoid build next. Crowd participation helps to highlight the immensity of this epic ode to suspicion and dread as these British legends lead a packed Pittsburgh arena in a massive metal sing-along. Led by his unmistakable introduction, the mighty Maiden are soon swept into the number of the beast's ill portents. Soaring guitars rocket from the stage, while Brother Harris's eternally bounding bass undergirds it all. Overwhelming melody and unstoppable power combine on an incredible run-through of this song. With a scream from the Steel City crowd, Bruce and the boys charge lightning quick into Iron Maiden. Still a potent statement of intent after all these years, the band's eponymous track closes the main set with a dominant hand. Taking a page out of the band's more progressive-minded catalog, The Evil That Men Do begins a slow instrumental weep from the stage as the mighty Maiden return for an encore. Ascendantly mournful guitars soon quick-step into action as this 1988 rocker hits with an impactful punch. Ending the night on a double dose from 1982's The Number of the Beast, the haunting epic Hallowed Be Thy Name begins the band's endgame. With poise and dignity, Hallowed's fateful toll rings loud and true through the Pittsburgh night. From Nico's bombastic drum strikes to Bruce's propulsive cadence to Brother Harris's expressive bass wizardry and the exquisite strength of the guitarist's three, Hallowed Be Thy Name soars into the air with honor and pride. Taking the crowd out on a buoyant note, the raw potency of Run to the Hills ends the night with unceasing energy. Sending a charge through the crowd, Run to the Hills leaves the audience in a fevered state as the band say their goodbyes and leave the stage. Nearing their 45th anniversary, Iron Maiden have never stopped crafting memorable and forward-thinking heavy metal. With an eye to the future, the band has also never shied away from their past. Embracing fan nostalgia between new album cycles, so-called greatest hits tours have afforded the mighty Maiden the opportunity to revisit classic tracks from time to time, and the current Legacy of the Beast tour is no different, focusing heavily on the band's iconic 80s triumvirate of The Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and Power Slave, 3 massive albums that launched the band to worldwide acclaim. Iron Maiden have curated an evening that recontextualizes the band's classic material within the framework of an all-new stage-driven experience. With plenty of space to occupy, the band continually moves into and out of formation as each member holds court across the stage, solo or teamed up in duos, trios, quartets, or the Voltron-like quintet frontline formation. The members of Iron Maiden are constantly in motion, traversing the stage with authority. Longtime ringleader and unquestioned bass deity Steve Harris gallops back and forth with 4 strings bounding into the night. Nico McBrain's powerful drum strikes propel the songs forward with their deft and nimble impetus. Unleashing a triple axe attack, the maestros Murray, Smith, and Gers slash and burn through the speakers with a sublimely distorted rush. Action-packed frontman Bruce cavorts himself with grandiose aplomb as he conducts the crowd through a richly illustrative night as the band moves across their voluminous catalog with veteran deftness. Blending classic Maiden tracks with a handful of powerful cuts from the 90s and early aughts, including a couple of Blaze-era epics for good measure, Iron Maiden cover nearly every decade of the band's existence across a wide-ranging setlist. An impressive and interactive stage show brings each song to vivid life. Visually striking colors, cinematic presentation, and immersive practical effects combined with the band's masterful performance to forge a captivating heavy metal experience.